My name is Clay Hamblin, and this is my resurrection story. I was born in Madisonville, Kentucky, on April 24th, 1992, to John Hamblin and Janet Hamblin. I was born to a addict in my father. He was exposed to hard drugs at a very young age, at 13 years old, and it just drastically affected his life, and in turn affected mine. I did see things I should have not seen, and been places I shouldn't have been, and through time my father just kept repeating himself, and my mother just eventually had to let go of the idea that we were going to be a family and move on with her life. And throughout this time she's going to school, full-time job, you know, the struggle to get a better life for me and her, and my mom was such a godsend. She really helped me be the person I am today, and I wouldn't be here without her. But she had to do a lot of work with me, and she was so understanding because of all this time that, you know, she's working and I'm being babysitted, and we all know babysitters don't really care sometimes. Well, like, I'm a pretty quick-witted kid, and I learned to cook pretty young. So like, then I'm just overeating, and, you know, I have no standard of like what a real meal is. So I quickly just become very large. That's all turned around with the determination and discipline that, you know, God has put in my heart and my mind. I was baptized in 5th grade. It was at Calvary Memorial Baptist Church in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. In my relationship with Christ, the triunal God, I've always felt His presence, not knowing it. You know, I've always been protected. My grandmother Janice, a huge rock for our family. My grandmother really was just a very stern, go-get-it, work hard, and honest woman. And may have been a little mean to some people, you know, may have yelled at some people here or there, but she just really, when you broke down and got to know her, she was really a sweet lady. Helped raise me while my mom was going to school, and my grandmother was always a believer in Christ, and then led my mother to be basically my whole small family. There's not a question about that. Great role models. The Clegerns specifically in Houston County, and like without knowing that, but like just perceiving them as great people. And that's what it's really about. The mission is to quietly just be great people, you know, and share the mission of Christ with people. My best friend Andrew, also my business partner, he was reaffirming his belief in the Lord, and just got my ears buzzing with it. My mom unfortunately passed when I was 25, and she was 50 years old, and this was in 2017. So it's been 8 years, and it's just something you're never going to get over. Everyone who's ever lost a parent, or anyone that's a close relative, just knows it never goes away. You miss them every day. Especially, she was such a rock. Like, her and my grandmother really were just the stability that I still live on today. You know, and Ray was a good role model as well. I'm not gonna say he wasn't, but he also had never really experienced a father figure, you know, because his father died at such a young age. So it came with struggles, and you know, they did the best they could. I, at this point, really appreciate the path I went down. I mean, it was a struggle at times, a lot of disheartening moments, a lot of self-brought on sadness and just self-hate because of the way I looked or acted, or, you know, and more so now it's the way I may have treated people, or, you know, because, and that's what Christ does. He'll really shine a light on the things that matter. My mother was working with Katie Brown at Waverly Nursing Home. She was the licensed clinical social worker, providing therapy to the patients. So they hit it off, and Katie invited her here, and her and Ray started coming, and then eventually they got me to come to, you know, some teen stuff, and when I walked back in here for this most recent time, it was because I opened the Bible during a very trying time with my stepfather, and it was Proverbs 13:1. A wise man heedeth the instructions of his father. I just melted right there, you know. Of course, I mean, just all fell in line. When Ray started coming back here, it only felt right, really, to come back here and at least try it. You know, I went to a few churches before here that were more local, and I just, you know, Darren is a really special pastor. He really is. He's just got such a graceful touch and spirit that, you know, he's a real blessing. And I mean, I like to think he is so impactful on people around him. You know, he is to me at least. So I serve here at WCN in the booth a lot. So that's probably why you haven't seen me if you haven't seen me. I go to marriage group. And then I like to think that more in my day-to-day is my missional. The kid that's stranded out here at the stoplight. We got him out of the way and got him to safety, and I tell him, hey, I pray for you. Those are the instances I try to focus on. I think with reaching a point where Christ is resurrected in you and you're really living the life, and yeah, you're gonna falter here or there, and when you start living for that and identifying that you're doing it for that and for His glory, it's really just an opportunity for the light of Christ to shine through you and His strength in you. The church has always been a place where I've gathered with people I've loved. I feel like I stay pretty connected now. I really dive into things. I've read the Bible this year three times through. I mean, so, you know, it's like something that, like, when you really catch on fire, it catches on fire. I'm Clay. I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me.